listening to Her Profit Era, the podcast for founders who want a business that actually works. A business that's profitable, predictable, and pays them well. I am Cindy Kumar, a CPA, a fractional CFO from Abbotsford, BC, Canada. I'm the person founders call when they're tired of high revenue months with no money left over. I started this podcast because too many founders were chasing sales while their margins, cash flow, and bank accounts told a completely different story. I believe profit and money in the bank is the standard, not a bonus, and that every founder deserves clarity around their numbers. Each week, you'll get real financial strategy you can actually use and honest conversations with founders and industry experts about what it really takes to build a business that lasts. Hi, Farrah. Thanks again for joining me on Our Profit Era.
Hi, Cindy. Thanks for having me. So glad to be back.
Yeah, I'm excited. I feel like we talked about so much on like the mortgage side, but we didn't have a chance to just like talk about money, things you see, things I see, and just have like a kind of like a more of a conversation than like a formal Q&A like last time.
Yeah, I love it. There's so much to cover. I don't even know where
Yeah.
to begin. But no, I think that's great.
So like before you even started like the money coaching, how was it like dealing with your own like personal finances?
It was so all over the map for me. I don't know how it
Yeah.
was, like we can talk about, how it was for you too, but for me, I remember 3 days after I turned 19, I walked into the bank and was like, hand me my credit card. Like, I'm ready to
Yeah.
go. Let's go. And I remember, using it. And then when my first credit card bill came and it was like $600 or something, but
Yeah.
I didn't have the money to pay that all off in full. And that was
Yeah.
my first experience with receiving my very own credit card bill. And I was like, oh, so I'm gonna have to pay this back.
Yeah.
And because I can't pay it off all right now, I'm gonna have to pay interest on it. So that kind of became like a vicious cycle in itself.
Yeah.
Um, but you kind of realize quickly, for me at least, how little I did know about managing my money because I really wasn't managing it at all, really.
Yeah.
But I look back now and I think like maybe if I hadn't have gone through those experiences, I probably wouldn't be so much of where I am at now with how I manage my finances and becoming interested in it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I look back at her, who I was then, and I can't help but just smile. And I know she was going through it, trying to figure things out, but oh my God.
Yeah, it's definitely like a lot of learning because like even like going through the school, like education system, like
Yes,
nobody teaches you those kind of things. And like the bank doesn't either. They're just like, okay, like, do you want to increase your limit? How much limit do you want? Or whatever it is. Do you want this credit line? But it's like nobody actually walks you through how it works.
totally, totally. That's so true. My first experience walking in wanting to actually learn about investing and somebody teach me about the stock market and somebody teach me
Yeah.
about MERs and how the different funds work and what these specific funds are invested in. And I remember walking into my bank and expecting them to help me with that and help me with the understanding aspect. And I didn't receive that. It was just like, okay, well, you want to invest? How about this? We'll buy this mutual fund and that's that. And I'm like, well, that's great, but I want to understand how this works. And I
Yeah.
didn't get that treatment. And that's when I walked out in shock. And that was like the first time I um, really understood like, wow, the institutions that we're a part of don't necessarily set us up for success to manage our money and grow our wealth. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely in school too. Like I feel like I'm hearing a little bit more nowadays that they are starting to incorporate more personal finance in high school. I don't know, to be honest, I don't know anyone super close in high school right now to ask, but I'm curious to see if that has changed because I remember, like, at least back in our day, that wasn't a thing. Yeah.
No, for sure. Yeah. Because even like growing up, when I got my credit card, it's like I was starting university. Parents were like, okay, it's used for like tuition, food, gas, like just the basics. And then the odd time you'd go shopping. And then I was fortunate enough where my parents would pay off my bill. But then it was like when I started corporate, started making the money, it was like, okay, like I can go shopping, I can do all these things 'cause I'm making my own money now. But then like everything I made just went to my credit card.
Yes. And
Yeah.
lifestyle inflation too, right? Because at that
Yeah.
point you're going and you're in corporate and you're working full time and you're like, you know, essentially rewarding yourself with by buying yourself things. And I'm sure, like, when I was in corporate too, it was like it can be mentally exhausting sometimes. And when you get like a raise or you get promoted, or finish a really time and time intensive project or something along
Yeah.
those, you feel the need to reward yourself with something, which I totally get, but
Yeah.
also sometimes that reward might not be something that fits within our affordability, you know?
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
It's like that dopamine hit, and it's like, I don't know, during that time, it's like you just want material things for the sake of having them or like showing people you have them.
Yeah, keeping up with the
Yeah.
Joneses,
Yeah.
right? I think I went through that a lot while I was in university. Um, because like, and I remember just looking around and seeing, the bags that other girls were carrying or what kind of clothes they were wearing or where they were shopping,
Yeah.
and like doing all this traveling. And I felt like they, you know, gave off this image of wealth and success that I also really wanted to emulate, even though I
Yeah.
was, in a full-time student, you know,
Yeah.
very poor and very broke, and probably put myself in, a difficult situation to get out of as I accumulated credit card debt trying to, flex for the gram or
Mhm.
whatever. So I don't, I, I'm losing my train of thought here, but essentially, it is very interesting to see how that can influence like the things that we buy. And so nowadays, there still are trends and there still are so many like cool things that you need to buy. And like for one of them for me I is the Stanley Cup.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like everybody has a Stanley Cup and they're so cute and they come in so many different colors and they do a great job of
Yeah.
keeping your drinks cold or hot. I totally get it. I think they're so adorable, but I just can't
Yeah.
bring myself to buy one. And I don't know, and I think it's just I'm just trying. It's like this one thing that I just can't bring myself to do.
No,
Yeah.
it totally makes sense. Yeah, I'm guilty for like the Starbucks cups. As soon as they have like a new one or I'm traveling somewhere and I see like the little city name on it, it's just like I can't help myself. It's like either
They're
water
so
bottles.
cute.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Like every time I think I also went through a lot of impulsive purchasing and like
Yeah.
the for that dopamine rush, like you said, where if I was in a bad mood or if I was feeling down about myself or feeling insecure or whatever sort of feeling I was going through, I wanted that rush of dopamine
Yeah.
that came that really only came from for at least at that time for me is from impulsive purchases. So now, knowing that about myself, I try to be like, okay, like, do I actually want to buy this? And did I actually think about this or know about this item or want this item before I even walked in the store? And if the answer is no, then I usually will take my time to actually think about it as opposed to buying it right away.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my personal rule of thumb for myself these days. being a responsible adult.
Yeah, and I feel like it's like back in the day you had to like physically go to the store, go to the mall. And now it's like Amazon, like all the stores are online now. It's like so easy to like just shop and not realize how much you're spending.
Yes. And you can have your credit card information saved.
Yeah.
You don't even need to get up from where you are.
Yeah.
So it just can be a lot easier to um, overspend or spend more than you intended to. And then
Yeah.
also just in general, like the cost of living has gone up so much. And I think for many folks who may, be like, I'm never going to be able to afford a home, or my
Mhm.
rent's already so expensive. I'm already, you know, just putting food on the table. I
Yeah.
saving for a home or whatever else that is really expensive might feel super unattainable to them.
Yeah.
So the way that they are gonna indulge or spend their money is gonna be on those smaller dopamine hits too. So I
So true.
definitely really empathize with that because it is really tough right now. Because a lot of people do like, I do, laugh about how I was back then or how you
Yeah.
were back then, how little we knew about financial management, but
Yeah.
also I think there is to some degree as well. Like it is really hard right now for a lot of
Yeah.
people too. So yeah, it can be hard to manage when your income just hasn't kept up with inflation
Or
and
lifestyle.
lifestyle and everything increasing in price. So yeah.
Yeah, and it makes you like really reflect on like all the things your parents did for you, like all the things they afforded. They made it look like so easy.
Yeah, my mom at one point um she did work really hard. She worked 7 days a week at one point. She's
Yeah.
still working today. Um she never complained. She really rarely ever took time off or days off or vacations.
Yeah.
Um but she made it seem like everything was good and everything was fine and she had it handled. But now growing up and really seeing, what it takes to raise a family and keep the bills paid and, roof over your head and all of that, like so much respect to all the parents for real. Yeah.
Yeah, I was even reflecting because we used to do like a lot of like family trips to India. And it's like we would go for like 6 to 8 weeks at a time, the whole family. And it's like, how did like my parents like manage like still paying the mortgage, paying for like five people's tickets to India, taking that much time off? And then just like how did they like afford that and keep the lights on and everything going like during that time? And then also being able to pay for things like on that trip, paying for their own family stuff in India as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And even though, yes, back then incomes versus costs of living
Yeah.
were a little closer, it still was, I'm sure, not easy. But
Yeah.
they just did a good job of, well, I wouldn't say, I don't know if good job is the right word, but they just
Yeah.
like did their best to like not have us worry, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. So, yeah, kudos. And that's crazy. Like your parents did those trips for 6 to 8 weeks. That's a long time. Yeah,
It
that's a lot
is.
to
Yeah.
take care of. Yeah.
How did you find like working in like the corporate world overall, like from like a financial perspective? Like, did you have like RSP matching or like any other kind of benefits?
So I personally didn't have RRSP matching when I was in corporate, but I did have like benefits. I did have like health spending accounts, things like that. My husband has RRSP matching now.
Yeah.
He's still in corporate, so that's always super nice. Free money, yay.
Yeah.
Um, but I did like I definitely am a huge believer in your benefits being a part of your entire compensation package. Like
Yeah.
use that up. it really, really breaks my heart to see or hear about it when people don't utilize their benefits from work, um, and just let it kind of go disappear into the ether and to waste, and it doesn't roll over, right? So
Right.
that's always something that I try to preach, and especially if we're like heading into mid-year now, summertime, like really take a look if you're listening to what you got left in your benefits package. Go to the chiropractor, go to the dentist, go get
Yeah.
your massages. Like, please go get your eye exam done. Please. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times people would leave it until like December, and that's when like the massage place, the RMT, like everyone's just fully booked at that point.
Yeah, it's really, really hard. I remember, booking in December a couple of years ago, and I was like, never again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel like those kind of benefits are like so important. I remember like when I worked at KPMG, like I didn't even know about the benefits, like because they go over so much information all at once, and it was so new. And then during my performance review, that's when one of the managers was like, "You should take advantage of like the RSP matching."
Yeah. I think everybody that gets offered RRSP matching should really take it,
Yeah,
like truly, unless, you know, you for some reason really, really, really need that, like you cannot keep the lights on and you can't afford your bills without
yeah,
the without keeping that match. Definitely do it. If like you get 100%, if you like get, oh my God, I'm getting tongue-tied over my words.
yeah.
If let's say you contribute 3% and they match 3%, that is a 100% return
So true.
even before, your investment return within the stock market, right? So like
Right.
even like credit cards interest rates are not going are still not going to beat that. So really, really consider taking it, if you're being offered it. But of course, like I said, if it's going to be like a difference between making it or breaking it, then maybe can do a little less or um,
Yeah.
not. But most cases, I feel like you should take it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was helpful for me. Like I accumulated like 20K in total, and then when I started my business, I was able to just pull that out and just use it.
It's amazing. That's great. And it can accumulate really quickly because of the matching aspect,
Yeah.
obviously. And like as your because it's based on a percentage of your salary, if you annually get a specific percentage raise or what have you, your contributions will increase, their match will increase. So, yeah, it's so awesome. Wished that every single employer offered this, but
Yeah.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on using like line of credits, but not intentionally like having a plan to like pay it back or anything?
Um, it's I it is very nuanced, I feel like,
Yeah.
because I do think that there is a time and a place, and I do think that line of credits, whether it's like a home equity line of credit or unsecured, like not tied to your home or anything,
Yeah.
like personal line of credit, I think they can be really handy.
Yeah.
Um, and it can be beneficial in some circumstances, but I also worry about folks who, like, if let's say they are using the line of credit to pay off higher interest debt, like credit cards, which
Yeah.
is great, right? Like
Right.
less interest, but then, you can, I feel like, get into slippery slopes of where you rack up the credit card again
Yeah.
because you've moved it elsewhere. So you're just shifting money or
So
shifting
true.
debt around. So that
Yeah.
kind of, I'm like, I don't know if that's a great idea for you. Um, but I mean, if you're going to be, buying a car and you need to finance the car, but your line of credit has a lower rate than what the dealer's financing is offering you, I think that's a good move too.
Oh, that's a good
Um,
idea.
yeah. That's something to look into. You can use, line of credits to purchase like a down payment on a home, which can be beneficial sometimes, depending, again, very,
Yeah.
very dependent. Um, the line of credit has to be added to your liabilities and serviced as part of your mortgage application, but it can be something to work with. Um, yeah, I think again, for all credit products, there is a time and a place. And I think if you're strategic with it, if you have a plan, a payoff plan, but it just was like, I don't know, for me, it can be a bit of a slippery slope. And
Slippery
I
slope.
also
Yeah.
see a lot of people these days, I also see a lot of people these days doing like, having their line of credit as their sole emergency fund, as opposed to
Oh, that's such a great
like,
idea.
yeah, like they do that as in comparison to like more traditional advice that we give, which is like 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up.
Yeah.
For some folks, they feel like even having that 3 to 6 months of money cooped up, in their opinion, in a checking account or in a high interest savings account, even if it's earning 2%, let's say, they're still not
Yeah.
happy with that and they would rather that money be in the stock market. So for those folks, they would much rather have a line of credit for emergencies. So
Yeah.
it really depends on, I think, too, like your risk, how risk averse you are,
Yeah.
how quickly you can access the money if it's an emergency. So I don't know. How do you feel about it? Tell me your
I
thoughts.
feel really mixed. So when I
Yeah.
left the corporate world, I was advised to apply for a line of credit because it would be easier because I had like
Yeah.
consistent income. So I got the line of credit and then I just started using it like for the business, for personal expenses, kind of like maxed it out. And then when I was
Mhm.
making money in like my business now, it was like, okay, let's work with this coach or let's go travel, let's do this. So it's like I wasn't actively trying to pay that line of credit off. And now the balance is just sitting there. And now it's like this year I'm actually being intentional about like paying it off, trying to be debt free. But it's like you think
Yeah.
similar to what you said earlier about a credit card, like you swipe it and then you're just like, oh, I have to pay this off.
Yeah, it can really feel, I mean, when you think about it, a card, right? Where
Yeah.
it's not like a bill or it's not like a coin. And
Yeah.
so sometimes I can't say this for everybody, but sometimes you don't associate this plastic piece of plastic as being
Yeah.
equivalent to money. So it can feel like when you're just swiping that, you might disassociate a little or not really like think about it as deeply as if you
So
were,
true.
um, to use cash. But like for me, I see, um, I feel like I'm more of the opposite, where like if I'm using my card, I'm thinking about it more. But if
Yeah.
I have physical cash, because
Yeah.
it
Then you're
doesn't
not
show
thinking
up
about it.
on my bill anywhere, I'm like, oh, okay, girl math or whatever. I know people say, oh my
Yeah.
God, girl math, but like it's just
Yeah.
more like I get it. Like you're paying with cash, you don't see it
Yeah.
anywhere unless you actually manually track it. So I just think it's very
Yeah.
interesting how different people associate. Yeah.
Yeah. Or even when you buy stuff on your credit card, like you get your monthly statement and all of a sudden like you're returning stuff and it's like, okay, I got a refund, but actually you didn't.
Yes. It's not. I got more money back. Yeah. Um, I
Yeah.
think it's the same too. There's that, psychological, like the marketing tactics people use and companies use
Yeah.
to get us are they are studied, they are millions of dollars are poured into marketing and it
Yeah.
works
In
because they know
psychology.
it works. The psychology of marketing, I find that to be super fascinating. It's one of the reasons why I I studied marketing too, is because I just found it to be really, really interesting. It works really, really well.
Yeah.
Um, and when you see in big letters 50% off, or when you see in big letters 1 day only, or sale ending soon, or you're on a website and you can see the time counting down till when the
Yeah.
sale ends, right? Like these are all tactics that are employed to get us to buy and to buy now.
Yeah.
Um,
Or even the sign up now for like 10% because they want your email and phone number.
exactly. They want your email, they want your information so that they can keep emailing you and sending you so that you come back and buy more, which is what they want. Um,
Yeah. Are you guilty of any like specific companies? When you see it, it's like, oh my gosh, I want to look at what they have.
um, Well, I do have one email. Like one of my email addresses is literally all spam, like all
Yeah.
marketing emails that get sent. So I do occasionally look in there. I do like to browse when it's like travel related.
Oh yeah.
Like if there's a seat sale or like something along those lines.
Yeah.
Um, but like one company that I got so annoyed, I will say, of getting emails from was Fashion Nova.
Oh
And
yeah. They've done so many.
I've used it as an example before when talking about how often companies email you, or a lot of us can feel like icky if we send our own marketing emails or newsletters, or we don't want to come across as being too salesy or anything like that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think about if I feel that way, but then I think about Fashion Nova sending me 50 emails a day, and I instantly feel better.
Yeah.
Like I'm not on that level.
Yeah.
So, um, but I was just like, Jesus, I am getting so many emails from them. I need to unsubscribe. So,
Yeah.
unsubscribe, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how. I feel like I unsubscribe so much, but I still end up with so
So
many
many. Yeah,
emails.
I did that this year too, like unsubscribing and then like I still get like random emails now.
Yeah. So I just leave it, and then I'm sure, another unsubscribe purge later on in the year.
Yeah.
Um, I do say I think I like to peruse Black Friday and like Cyber Monday stuff.
Yeah.
But it's kind of gotten to a point where like the emails, to be honest, are so overwhelming from all of these businesses that I just kind of don't really look at them anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
You
would
just
look,
get like turned off from them.
yeah, yeah. So I can understand why, if I'm feeling that way and I'm feeling kind of exhausted from all the emails, like I'm sure
Yeah.
there's other people who feel that way too. So, and it's also just be staring at your screen all the time. And
Yeah.
like I already got like work emails. I don't need to be reading all of
Yeah.
these other discount emails too, unless it's travel related. Yeah.
Do you have any tips for like looking for like travel deals?
Um, I I am signed up with like WestJet and Air Canada Aeroplan. So I whenever they have like seat sales, I take a look as well. Um Also on Reddit too. I'm a big Reddit peruser.
Yeah.
So I read a lot of Reddit. I just find it to be really interesting. I find like it's like your it's like it is, social connection, but I find it to be really, really interesting where people are posting and they think they're anonymous, or they feel they're
Yeah.
anonymous, and you see what they say. I find it to be fascinating. But yeah, people will post on there like if there are any deals coming up, travel tips, that sort of thing. Um, Also, I'm in a few like Facebook groups, like YVR deals, that sort of thing. And sometimes, like, especially with points, or there might be like an error fare that was a mistake fare and the company hasn't noticed it, and you can buy that. So, like, it's just super, like, just looking around for things like that. And also, I'm a big points gal. I love talking about travel points. I love earning travel points. I love using travel points.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm always on Air Canada Aeroplan just looking for how
Deals.
much a flight to wherever costs, whether it's in points or cash. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then for like Visa points, like I know there's like different options where you can buy gift cards, merchandise, travel. Like in terms of like the dollar equivalent, what do you think is like the best option?
Oh, hands down, it's going to be flights. Like
Okay. Yeah.
99% of the time, I feel. The amount of points per dollar spend is going to be better with you'll have better redemption value spending it on flights as opposed to gift cards and or like hotels, etc. But again, like I'm not the points police. So even though yes, I it is way better to spend it on flights, like value wise, but maybe you have no idea where you're gonna travel or when you're gonna travel or if you even want to go somewhere in particular and you don't know when you're gonna use them. Like the longer you also keep the points, the value also decreases too. So
So true. Yeah.
earn and burn, earn and burn. So
Yeah.
unless you have something specific in mind, like you could like who's to stop you from buying a gift card with it? Yeah.
That's so true.
Do you have anywhere like would you have your next travel destination in mind or like somewhere you've always been thinking you've wanted to go?
I'm going to Ottawa in November, but I've still been looking like on Air Canada. I still have like a travel voucher for them for like
Mm,
$500.
nice.
But like the flights are like 700 plus to Ottawa still. So I'm like, oh, I'm tracking it right now.
Isn't it
So I'm like, as soon
crazy
as it goes down,
how expensive it is to travel within Canada?
yeah,
That is insane, truly.
yeah. And you can go to like Vegas for like $300.
Yeah, Mexico.
Yeah,
Um, wow. And that's not even all the way across the country. That's
it's
like
not,
in
yeah.
Ontario. Uh, yeah, it is quite, and there's so much, like I'm going to the East Coast this summer, like to Halifax, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, or other parts of Nova Scotia too. So it's
Yeah,
like, um, there's so many beautiful parts to Canada and there's so much to see and there's so much to do here. But it's
yeah,
like, my goodness, it is expensive to travel within the
yeah.
country. And
Yeah, it's like, do I want to go to Mexico or go to like Nova Scotia?
right?
Right.
Two very different places.
It is, yeah.
I do really love going to Mexico though. Like the heat, the vibe, it is beautiful. Where in Mexico are you going?
I'm not going to Mexico. I was just giving an example.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, scratch that.
Yeah, I feel like I need a trip to Mexico now.
Yeah. Don't we all?
Yeah. And what are like your thoughts on like taking cash out, spending cash on the trip versus like using your credit card, not being really sure of how much you're spending, and then you come back to your credit card bill and like you don't have enough to pay it off.
Yeah, well, like there are like no FX fee cards, so like using a credit card that offers that is pretty handy.
Mhm.
Um, I usually like to, whenever I travel internationally, um, I like to have a little bit of money exchanged prior to my trip.
Yeah.
So, like on, um, my husband and I went on our honeymoon a couple of years ago, and we were visiting a handful of countries. So, in order to like keep ourselves on track and like on budget,
Yeah.
we actually put our spending money in different envelopes with each different currency for each
Oh
country.
wow.
And so,
Yeah.
yes, I'm sure, we ended up losing money in exchange fees and all of that. But I
Yeah.
think there is something that also comes with having the peace of mind where I have cash. Yes, it's not, probably not the safest thing to be walking around with all this cash on you.
Yeah.
Um, but if the ATM doesn't work there, or if my card gets frozen because my bank, thinks I'm out of the country and it's not me and it's
Broad.
fraudulent.
Yeah.
So, I like that peace of mind, um, of having at least a little bit of cash on me of that currency,
Yeah.
to get through. Yeah. But yes, there are no FXV cards out there as well. Um, so definitely take advantage of those as well. Yeah.
What did you guys like set a budget before going to?
Yeah, we actually so we had all of our flights and our accommodation taken care of and pre-planned um ahead of time. So it was just spending money that we had to think of. So
Yeah.
we did a budget for each place we went to, and also just a budget as a whole for the trip. So when we exchanged the different currencies for each country, we had that spending money um, planned out ahead of time.
Yeah.
But of course, like nothing, like it doesn't have to be like strict, super rigid and like no going over or no going under. But it was at least a good visual to um, have on hand because also like we were using eSIMs. And so for any banking that we had like two-factor authentication set
Oh
up
yeah.
for, we
Yeah.
couldn't like log in to some of our banking.
Oh wow, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, but that's such an important issue.
So just thinking about that too, like it's just nice to know sometimes cash can be king just for peace of mind sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. I started like doing like a vacation fund and like just putting away money every single month. That's been super helpful.
Yeah, how is that? How have you been liking doing that?
It's been good because it's like it makes me like actually think about like going on this trip, what is it gonna cost? Like in a couple years ago I went to Sedona. I've never been, so I'm like, okay, like I started looking at Airbnbs. I'm like, I want to stay at this place. It was like $2,000 a night, but it was like so beautiful. And I'm like, I have to stay here. And then they had this like Red Rock, like pink Jeep tour. So I even called like the Jeep tour place. I'm like, what would you recommend doing? I've never been. So it was kind of like a fun kind of experience because like you're being curious too.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. And then I did the same thing when I went to New York too. When I was speaking, it was like, okay, like how much is the hotel gonna cost? I had points for flights, but it's like, what do I want to do there? How much am I gonna spend on food and just kind of like estimating it. And then I just used my credit card still, but then I would take that money out of the savings and just pay off my credit card.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And it just makes it like a little bit more attainable to
Yeah.
save for it over time as
Yeah.
opposed to like you're 1 month before your trip and you're like, oh shit, like what am I gonna do? Where am I gonna get
Yeah.
all this money from? And or like my whole paycheck is gonna go towards my trip, right? So
Right. Yeah.
that can
Versus like saving like $100, $200 a month over time, it just adds up.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think too, like it's so helpful like you did to like call around, do your research.
Yeah.
Like I think I am a huge nerd when it comes to doing travel research and I love to
Yeah.
look up um information about where I'm going or the
Yeah. Me
hotels I'm
too.
staying at or the city. Like I super nerd out on that.
Yeah.
And so I find it to be fun and enjoyable. I know that's probably not the case for everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just want to set it and book it and forget about it, and that's fine. But I think when you
Yeah.
do take the time to ask questions and do your research, you set yourself up for success so that you have an idea or like an estimate of what things will cost
Yeah.
even if it's like a year or two in advance. So you might be like, oh, well, I'm not going to go to New York for another 2 years. And well, that 2 years is going to sneak up on you anyway.
Yeah. So
So
true.
maybe you should start saving, $100 a month for 24 months now. And by the time it rolls around, you'll have 2,400 bucks to spend.
That's so
So
true.
yeah. So that's kind of how I like to look at it.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just mentally, I think, less taxing to put away. And it doesn't even have to be $100. It can be $10. It can be
Yeah.
$25. Whatever you um, have and can do and can comfortably do, that's what you should do. Um,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think it's just way more mentally easier to put away a small amount for a longer period of time than it is to be like, oh my God, my trip's 3 months away. I'm gonna put
Yeah.
$1,000 a month away. Like, are you really
Yeah.
gonna do
It
that?
doesn't work.
Can
Yeah.
you even afford to do that? That doesn't make any sense if you have been thinking about this for a long time. So,
Yeah. And then even like traveling around, like even Ubers, like they add up.
yes, Uber's to and from the
Yeah.
airport too.
Yeah.
Like they add the little airport surcharge. Like
Yeah.
we in, human society love a surcharge on literally everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that can add up really quickly too. I took an airport ride to the Edmonton airport, which is, Edmonton's Edmonton. I do love Edmonton. But still, it was like $80 to go to the airport from my
Oh,
hotel.
wow.
And I was
Yeah.
like, this is so
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are like some common issues you see come up with like the clients you work with? Like, are you seeing like common themes of like either is it debt or like not having a system with their money?
I see a little bit of everything, to be honest. Um, I think that what I see sometimes, particularly when it comes to um, homeowners,
Yeah.
is not everyone, again, please don't come for me. I'm not saying everyone. I
Yeah.
think when you are a homeowner, you're paying off a mortgage, um, but there may not be, for some, like a huge focus on paying off other like high interest debt.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've seen where, you know, I talk to my clients like we don't want this to kind of get out of hand where you cannot make your minimum payments anymore, especially, or like,
Yeah.
what's your plan to pay this down? Because what if one day interest rates rise, you're paying more, it's going to be
Yeah.
might be tougher for you to meet your all of your financial obligations. So what's the plan here? But sometimes I get the reaction of, well, like I already own my home, so I'm not, trying to get approved again, or like there isn't always like a huge sense of urgency. Whereas for me, like I feel a sense of urgency when I see that.
Yeah.
Um, but again, take it with a grain of salt because we are in a tough economy right now. So we are seeing consumer debts go up so much.
Yeah.
So we got to have empathy with that. But I'm like, also, like, what's the plan here?
Yeah, I like that with like when people have like tax balances and they haven't like planned for it. It's like, okay, you're going to do these monthly payments, but do you realize how much you're going to pay in like interest and penalties with CRA too?
The CRA is going to get their money in
Yeah.
in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like that would
And I've seen them like freeze accounts or like
garnish
automatically withdraw
wages.
money out too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that they're gonna get their money either way. It's just a matter of when or how.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I would want to see clients build a plan for that too. Or like, yeah, property taxes too.
Oh yeah.
So I would hate to see anyone, have a lien on their property due to property taxes or anything like that. So
Yeah.
um that is definitely something tough. Um Also, I've seen a few clients who, I mean, just due to the nature of the job market, have been laid off as well,
Yeah.
which is really tough. I've also had a few clients who have left the job market from their own, due to their own decision, and they are taking a break from work. And they've, saved up money in order to do that. So kind of seeing a whole bunch of different things going on right now. Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on like retirement? Because I feel like a lot of young people, like even including myself, like I've never used to think about like retirement, having money saved up. But you see so many people like in their 60s still having to work because they can't afford to not work or because they won't be able to pay like their bills. Or you hear a lot of people saying like I didn't expect to live this long either.
Well, I think it's about starting young. So
Yeah.
if you are young now, the earlier you start, the better you'll have it in retirement because when it comes to retirement, time is your best friend.
Yeah.
So as a 20-year-old, you could be putting away less per month than a 30-year-old, but by the time you're both 65, the 20-year-old's going to have more money, right?
Right.
Um, so that's one thing, and I think people don't start investing early enough. I wish I could go back and start at 19,
Yeah.
when I could open up a TFSA. I started investing when I was, I want to say 23 or 24, I
Yeah.
believe. But now I look back and I'm like, that's 4 years of gains that I missed out on. So that's like one thing that I would really consider. Even if you're 19 or 20 and you have $5 a month to spare,
Yeah.
like that's $5 that could be invested. And as you make more income and as you save more, you can put away more. It's not going to be that way forever. And
Yeah.
then it's tough because when you do reach 60, 65 and older, and if you don't have enough to retire, it's a really, really tough place to be in. And let's say you're solely relying on OAS or CPP,
Yeah. It's not enough.
it's not enough. And on top of that, if you are in a position where you don't own your home and you are needing to pay rent, and let's say maybe you are on a waiting list for like rental assistance for seniors, but you're not receiving it yet and you're still needing to pay your rent in full. Um, and rents over time, even though they have gone down in the short term, typically over the long term, it's going to go increase.
Right.
That's like a little bit of a concern too. Whereas like seniors, if they own their home, even if they, may not have a ton of retirement savings, they have options, like a reverse mortgage, or maybe they can tap into um, like a home equity line of credit they may have. But if you're not, you have more limited options too. And I believe I read a stat where like most people outlive their retirement savings by about at least 10 years.
Wow.
So yeah, start when you can start when you're 19 with $5.
That's very eye-opening.
Yeah. So, I do like reverse mortgage seminars and I talk to seniors, and that is something that I talk about is um, utilizing a reverse mortgage. And again, it's not for everybody. So, again, don't come for me. But like, that is a common thing where seniors don't have enough retirement savings to last them until they pass away.
Yeah.
So it is really tough. Yeah.
And would you recommend someone like open like a TFSA, RSP, the first time home savings account, use like Wealthsimple, Q Trade, and just manage things themselves? Because I know a lot of brokerages, they want you to have like a minimum, like 100K plus to like invest with them. So how would someone just get started on like investing a little bit amount without feeling like overwhelmed?
Yeah, I mean, certainly there are brokerages that require a minimum, but there are many platforms that don't. And like you mentioned, like Wealthsimple is one of them. That's where I got my start. I still invest with Wealthsimple as well.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think that self-directed management is necessarily for everybody. Like some folks may not find it interesting. Some folks might not want to manage their own portfolio at all, and would
Yeah.
just rather have like a robo advisor do it for them, and set their risk tolerance and contribute the money and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Um, so it really, really depends. And I do also like I talk to people who have mutual funds too, like at a big five. And yes, their management expense ratio is like over 2% oftentimes, but their return is probably still better than if they didn't have the money invested at all.
So true.
So
Yeah.
so there's that, right? So um and I think there is a place also for financial advisors, financial planners who actively manage your portfolio on your behalf too. Um, it just really depends on what's right for you.
Yeah.
But for me, I personally feel like I've had the best results managing my own portfolio, or at least with a platform like Wealthsimple, for example, with lower fees over time as well. Because like you won't really notice the fees as much when your portfolio's smaller. But as you get older and you have far more money invested, then that's when you'll start to see a huge difference in the amount of fees, the amount that fees are costing you every year. Yeah.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on like people renting versus like owning their own home? Because I often see like videos of Ramit Sethi talking about how it's cheaper renting overall because
Mhm.
you don't have like the maintenance of your house, property taxes, all these kind of things. So I wanted to hear like your thoughts on it.
You're not gonna love my answer because
Yeah.
my answer is it depends. And I think people often expect because I'm a mortgage broker that, I'm gonna be super biased towards home ownership. And in some ways I am because I think also being a homeowner is also an emotional decision as much as it is a financial one.
Yeah.
So I can tell you that from the emotional side, to me, it's important because it helps provide me with a sense of like physical safety and stability and not worrying about being rent evicted or not worrying, as long as I pay my mortgage every month, nobody can make me leave. Uh,
Yeah.
I can decorate my home however I want in the way that I want, etc. Um, and um, a common argument is you rent and invest the difference. Because, yes,
Yeah.
especially today, when you add up mortgage, strata, property taxes, maintenance costs, buying new appliances,
Yeah.
replacing things, all of that, it can add up and totally exceed the cost of renting. But the key is investing the difference is, are people actually doing that? Um,
Probably not.
Not everyone will. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. And people that do, amazing. Like that's 100% great. But the thing is, not everybody will. Then you also need to consider equity as well over time.
Yeah.
But my stance on it is not everybody wants to be a homeowner and not everybody has to be a homeowner, and that's fine. Some people don't want to be tied down to a specific place or city, and people want to travel and move freely and not be tied down to a property or not be held responsible. Um, I've had appliances break that I've had to replace. That is
Yeah.
really annoying. Whereas you could have your landlord hire someone and fix it up for you and you not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it's a kind of a mixed bag of worms when it comes to that like rent versus buying
Yeah.
decision. But again, I think it's about what is right for you. And I also have to understand that it's hard as hell to save a down payment too,
Yeah.
especially in, our market in the Lower Mainland, um, in the Greater Toronto area. It's
Yeah.
really, really hard to save up a down payment, when you have expensive rent and you have all your other expenses too. So, it's tough with affordability. So
Yeah, I
I get
totally agree. And a lot of times you just think like you work so hard like outside of your house to pretty much pay for your house that you don't even spend that much time in.
Yeah, I joke sometimes like where I would be like, "Oh, I'm enjoying my mortgage today. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
chill at home," you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is really hard because also you don't want to see people be house poor, um,
Yeah.
and not be able to keep up with their other financial goals and lifestyle goals or that sort of thing because of the cost of their home.
Yeah.
Um, and one thing I will add though is from an affordability perspective, often what you qualify for and you're like approved for or what your affordability, I would typically try to steer clear of your max affordability, whatever you get pre-approved for. Yeah. Try and stay under that.
It's always hard because you want the more expensive thing all the time.
100%. And you know what? The grass is always greener. Like
Yeah.
there's always going to be somebody with a bigger house than you, and there's
Mhm.
always going to be somebody with a nicer house than you or et cetera, right? So
Right.
if you are somebody that does want to own a home, you have to just start with where you can start and where you're comfortable starting.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be in the situation where, by the time you retire, you have a paid off house, which is great, but you have no retirement savings either.
So true. Yeah.
Because then in retirement, instead of traveling or instead of, doing your hobbies, you're just going to be at home and that's no fun either.
Stressing out about everything.
Yeah. What are your I'm curious what your take is on that argument.
I feel like for so long, like just with my dad being in the real estate space, like building houses and stuff, he's always like ingrained it into us, like
Hmm.
you have to own your own home, you have to own your home. But it's like you hear all these different perspectives now, and it's like, does it actually make sense?
Hmm.
Or like 3 generations from now, someone else is gonna be living in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just think like we weren't put here to like struggle to pay the bills or like not be able to enjoy the things that we want. So
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just like just thinking about all these things. It's like, why were we like put here to just struggle? Like it just doesn't add up.
The existential question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you start thinking about these things and you're just spiraling and it's like you start going in like different directions with it.
Yeah. And like if you're like I just think if you have or anyone really who questions themselves of like me, do I actually want these things or is it
Yeah.
because it's what I've grown up hearing or what I'm
Yeah.
used to?
Yeah.
So that's also something I ask myself a lot about anything really. Like, do I
Yeah.
actually want that? And you can use that like when you're again when you're finding yourself like in an impulsive moment or about to buy like something impulsively too. It's like, do I actually want that or am I being told that I want that?
So
You know?
true. Yeah. And like, I guess like even growing up, like you hear like get your own house, you need this, you need that, but it's like, are these even like your beliefs or like what you feel is right?
Yeah, and it becomes hard to like sometimes decipher the difference between the
Yeah.
two, um, which is something that I still am working on
Yeah,
as
it's
we
definitely a
go.
work in progress.
Yeah,
And do
yeah.
you feel like a lot more women are like taking control of their finances, being more like financially literate with things now? Because like even for myself, like I always let like my dad handle the mortgage stuff
Hmm.
just with his experience, and then my husband took over. And then like it wasn't until I started my business I started looking into like the savings accounts, like how to invest, how to like build up my emergency savings. So do you find like women naturally just let the men make those kind of decisions or like take care of those things?
I think I'm seeing a lot more women now.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of my clients obviously are women, so I get a lot of questions from women who um, are looking to learn for themselves.
Yeah.
So I think that is super promising. And I also think that for so long, money and finance in general has just been a field that is so dominated by men.
So true.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's like it's gonna take a while to, hopefully sooner rather than later, to, and we're starting to see more and more women enter the space and from a career standpoint and also just taking better control of finances um, instead of waiting for a parent or waiting for a partner um, or a sibling even to take care of that for you. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm starting to see a big shift in, which I think is really, really promising. Um, so I hope that trend continues
Yeah.
just because the more that women take matters into their own hands and the more that women are in charge of their own financial house, um, the more successful I think the world as in general would be. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense because you often hear about like young girls, they want to move out of their house, but they don't have like their finances figured out, or you see people in like toxic relationships, or you're seeing like a lot of men dying earlier now. And it's like women, like you hear the stat about like, I don't know how many it is, but it's like women outlive men too.
Yeah. And there are life insurance premiums to prove it, where,
Yeah.
often men have higher premiums because they're men. Yeah. So what happens, if your spouse passes away and you are now left at home, now you're managing the finances. It would be so tough if that happened and you are managing for the very first time ever,
Yeah.
and you have no idea what the accounts are, what accounts you have, what's in
Which banks or
which
what, where
banks.
your mortgage is.
100%. How do you pay your mortgage? You've never paid it
Yeah.
before in your life. So
Yeah.
that on top of experiencing grief, I can't even imagine what that would feel like. Like that would be extremely hard to manage all for the very first time. So, um,
And especially if like the spouse had like other investments or had their own business, like probate fees, assets, taxes, like there's so much that goes into that too.
100%. Yeah. So make sure you have life insurance. Um, I hope everyone enjoyed and takes a little bit something away. And I always love chatting with you. So, yeah,
Me too. I feel like we always have such like fun conversations.
definitely. Hopefully, we'll do it again. I'll be back.
Yeah, for sure.
All
Thanks,
right.
Farah.
Thanks, Cindy.
If you're a founder who wants real strategy, not noise, and you want someone in your corner helping you build a business that feels aligned, is profitable, and actually supports your life, you can apply for CFO on Call. This is my one-on-one financial partnership for established founders, typically making between 500K to 2 million, who want clarity, who want structure and confidence with their numbers. The link is in the show notes so you can schedule a profit strategy call. or you can DM me CFO on Instagram at @CindyKamar and I'll send over all the details.